How you doing, everybody? It's Sunday the 4th of July 2010 and it's the birthday of the Great Republic, and that's really what I want to do the little video on today, really, if I can. Just touch on a couple of things. And what I'd like to do, just very briefly, I'd just like to go back. I don't want to ramble here, I probably will ramble, but anyway, I just want to go back to the concept of what it must have been like in 1776 for these people in America to actually engage in the overthrow of a monarchist system and bring about this great republic. It must have been truly incredible. It must have been truly, truly incredible. Imagine every piece of literature that you read, from the media, the basic media they had in newspapers, and that would have been about all it would have been, and town criers and government pamphlets and stuff like that. And then you had the commercial newspapers, and then you had the whole church, which played a massive role in the whole thing, and then the government itself. And imagine from you were born until you died, all you had stuffed down your throat was that a crowd of blue bloods were superior than you were. Imagine that. A group of people who did nothing in their lives, never worked a day in their life, never had to go out and sell their labour or do anything like that. They were anointed by God to be. That's what the propaganda said. And the church was the major protagonist in this. They were God's anointed to rule over the plebs, the masses, the great unwashed, the disenfranchised, the dispossessed. Imagine that. And a group of people in America challenged that notion. And essentially what it did was it came out of a couple of places, but in the main it came out of France. And you had the great libertarian upsurge there with the excesses of Louis XVI and the whole debacle with the monarchy within Europe and what was going on, and the whole inbreeding, and the whole, just people saw it for what it was. Well, a lot of middle class people who were probably very well educated saw it for what it was. And it manifested itself through a combination of several things. Basically very liberal Protestant thought, and also very liberal French Freemasonry. And that was taken out of Europe, specifically out of France, and brought into focus by men like Thomas Paine, the great Thomas Paine. And I would certainly recommend anybody who's never read anything about politics just to read Paine's Rights of Man. And books like that obviously had a massively profound influence on the people who are going to bring about the young American Republic. But anyway, I don't want to go on eulogising it, but it must have been a monumental leap, intellectual leap, to reject monarchy and to challenge monarchist authority in a society where, specifically America, which was run by a monarchist king, an English king, and to challenge it and to draw up militias in a physical manner to challenge it, and to say no, we've had enough, that's it. And then to bring about a republic, and bringing about what that republic represents. It's like the beacon of democracy, the beacon of libertarian thought. Like, you know, there is a painting. I don't know who did it. I think it's Winslow Homer, one of those great Americans, did it. And it's of a man standing on a hill, and in his hand he carries the Constitution, and he has the tricorn hat on his head. And I don't think it's Paul Revere or anything like that. I think it's meant to represent a man with the American Constitution in his hand. And what it is, the actual image, it's a bit like the Marines at Iwo Jima and that sort of stuff. It's you know the image of the Marines putting the American flag up. It's that sort of image, but this is like a core image of, for Western history, for our sense of history, what this thing means, like what this country, what it represents. Like it is a true beacon of democracy, and it would be a terrible shame if it were challenged and it were extinguished, and that's what's happening today. For the first time in my lifetime, I never thought I'd be saying this, but a crowd of not political people, but they are political because it's sort of the thing overlaps on the one another, but a crowd essentially of bankers, first of all, has seized the whole economic power of America and put it into slavery, put the whole of the American people into slavery so they can live off the people behaving as slaves. Through basically credit, that's essentially what it is. It's credit indebtedness, that's what it is. And that is extended not only to the individuals, that is now extended to the sovereign, to the actual people. Imagine the actual state of America is indebted to these bankers for colossal amounts of money. In order to raise money, the Americans have to sell their bonds, and they not only sell them to these bankers, they also sell them to Chinese and any other government or anybody else who buy them. But specifically, they sell them in bulk to the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is buying them up by the new time. So a crowd essentially of European bankers are going to own America. We already know that the elite within America, 10% of them own 83% of the wealth, and 1% of that elite own 42% of the wealth. So that is going to accelerate and accelerate and accelerate. But the final thing I just want to say is that the war that's coming up, they're not happy with that because they see that they basically have, it's like you run out and strangle a goose that lays a golden egg. These bankers are about to strangle the American people. That's what's going to happen, and they won't be able to make remake the payments. So in order to change those set of circumstances, they're going to go to war, and the war is going to produce lots of golden opportunities for the elite, and it's going to ramp up industrial production big time. It's going to increase militarism. It's going to increase censorship. It's going to allow all sorts of political and geopolitical manifestations and ramifications to go on with the Americans and their allies all throughout the world, and seize and grab huge areas of land, etc., etc., and do deals with people you'd never think they'd do deals with. And hundreds of thousands of young Americans are going to die. That's what's going to happen. Hundreds of thousands of them are going to die. But it won't be the elite sons and daughters. No, 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 no. They're never at the cutting edge. They're never where the rubber meets the road. They're always in the background giving the orders. Today's the birthday of the Great Republic. I want to salute the Great Republic. I see it for what it is. The potentials are enormous for this Great Republic. But it has to sort out two things. It has to sort out its own internal economic order, and it has to sort out its own external foreign policies. Because they could be the demise of the Republic. Each of them could be the demise of the Republic. And if they come together, it will be the demise of the Republic. In the interim, let's look to better days. Here, let's salute the Republic. It's their birthday. Good luck.